Hello there, everybody, and welcome to the Abyss. Today we are jumping right into it because I know I'm a little late. I am gonna be doing art, hopefully, or something close to what should be art. No promises. I might be a little loud right now. That's because I have a new wireless headset that I'm trying out. Uh, it's not really great for games because I guess the audio drivers are a bit wonky. Still figuring it out. Uh, But yeah, I don't really know what I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna be turning on music, but the headset also doesn't have any like manual controls, so I may just be like manually tuning it through software, but you'll be able to tell. So let me know if it gets too bad. I'm just gonna be putting it on in the background as um, I'm gonna be doing other things. Go ahead and do that. It sounds fairly reasonable. This headset also is more sound canceling, which for other things is pretty good, but I don't know, I can't really hear myself as well. If I try to like turn, whoa, that was weird. Why did I hear myself twice? Test. Okay then. Now I kinda need to test my Streamlabs things. Oh, and I never changed my, I've got so many things I needed to do that I just straight up didn't do. Tell you what, I have my other headset plugged in still. Let me switch over to that. Okay, sounds better. Test. Yep. Well, okay. Now I can hear myself. See, the issue. I use a software called Voicemeeter Banana, and unfortunately, for no matter what I do, because it's a virtual output, I can't seem to figure out a way to remove this like half second, not even delay. And for anyone who knows anything about like voice feedback going into your own headset, hearing yourself, it's great for radio stuff, but if there's even a half second delay, it turns into what's called a speech jammer, and you run into this issue where your brain's hearing yourself a half second after you are speaking, and it gets confused because it's preparing the next like verse, the next line of what you want to say, and then your brain hears what it already said in the past after it thinks it should have already been said, and it screws up your next train of thought because it goes, wait a second. Something along those lines. That may not be the exact science. I'm, no audiologist or whatever the heck it is that does that kind of work, but it is definitely an issue. So now I'm also going to take a second and try to change my theme. Unfortunately, the last time I tried to change my theme, it didn't go so well, as you all may know. I tried to put in minimal darkness, but it just ended up being not good because there were certain things that ended up being limited. So now I'm gonna try a new let me get download zip. Sure. Copy, and then we're going to go to recently visited. I know no one can see this right now, but that's totally fine. That's neither here nor there. Boop, 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 boop. Open file location. And then we're going to go ahead and paste this here. And then we're going to extract here. Sure, that should work. So download the latest release page, automatically open and ask to install an Aspirite. Wait, really? Okay, so I just need to go to the Aspirite extension from the release pages. Huh. Well, we're gonna do it my way. Get rid of that. Usage. Extensions. Add extension. Oh, back up one. There isn't one this time. I got to go back to the page. What? Edit preferences, extensions, click add extensions. I don't have the studio theme thing. I downloaded the thing, but it didn't include the Did it just not have it? Is it this quote unquote build? Goodness gracious. See, the thing is, I like this one. There's no... One hires what open theme.xml. Yes. Apply. It didn't apply. 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 Let's open it in another program. What other program? All right, let me just close that. I'm gonna delete that. Okay, it still says it's open. Oh, delete that. All right. Okay. And then we do this again. Open with Aspirite. Install. Upgrade. Yes. Open folder. Cool. Okay, so now if I go to theme, apply this, if I apply this, it's not applying any of them. Oh my god, there we go. Sure. Cool. Oh, well, that's to be expected. Anyway, time to kind of let you guys see what I've been messing around with now. This is now my new Aspirite stuff. So, a child abomination. Oh my god, that's right. Oh lord. Oh my god. Let me go ahead and just do that. And the real question is, with this theme, can I move you? I can, relatively easily as well. That was the issue before. Oh my god. This is still terrifying. I forgot how terrifying this was. Not gonna lie. We're gonna go ahead and do this. Alright, I need to... Don't worry, he just had a little accident. Oh my god, I hate him. His hands look like feet. What have I done? Anyone who comes to my stream right now is gonna be like, what is this abomination you've created? And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Let me go ahead and go and do this. I don't know what's wrong with him. He has issues, okay? Don't judge him. I no longer know how I feel about this. Oh, I know what the issue is. It's that he looks like he has a hand, and then the thumb is coming out of his sleeve. I mean, it looks a little better now. Child abomination, I think. I mean, the next layer would be to add shading to this, right? So now we take this and put that there. We select these 5, gradient them. We do that. Now we take this. Oh, I no longer need okay. There we go. It is 9:30, my dudes. I don't know why I'm continuing on this guy when he's obviously a gigantic flop, but I'm treating it as a good learning experience. Oops, that's not the right button. And for those who are wondering, I do actually have a backup plan. I created something. I'm just embarrassed to show it because I don't think it's 100% what I envisioned. But that's gonna be my next step. I'm gonna go ahead and reveal my relatively safe OC. In fact, I'm still going. I don't even want to continue with this guy. This guy makes me want to puke. I want to know, what does it look like? Oh my god. But it does add a lot of cool detail to the face, at least. And I really should, like, if I'm gonna be that particular about it, it would really be something like that. If this is also gonna have shading. Sorry, I can't stop once I get started. I can't stop. Because now he just looks like Two-Face. I'm sure there's a quicker way to do this, but I'm just not gonna. Still? Oh. Still? Oh. Still? Oh. There we go. I don't know why I pinned the eyebrows under the shading category. I think everyone can agree. This is just too much cheating. It doesn't go back that far. That's unfortunate. I'm an idiot. Some shading there is fine, but like that much is just not necessary. Anyway, this is an abomination. I hate it. But it was practice. It kind of shows up a little bit that I know a little bit about anatomy and the basics of this. Am I good at this? Absolutely not. In fact, I honestly just dislike making humanoids. Now, does this, you know, well, if you don't like making, hi Ollie, if you don't like making humanoids, why don't you just don't it's like, wow. Unfortunately, a lot of my ideas revolve around humanoids, as like if you're gonna make a game or something, right? Like, or if you're, you know, want to make just an OC in general. Like for me at least, I revolve it around what I know, which is humanoids, because believe it or not, although I may be an abyssal creature, I am still humanoid. Have you found your little perch, Ollie? have a cat. Cat intruder. One would say, a cat burglar. If you steal anything. There's two cats. A long boy and a big boy. The long boy causes destruction. The big boy just comes in for pets and lazes about. Anyway, I have a drawing and I have absolutely zero idea how this is going to turn out. So, this will be under art. All caps, cause why not? So let's go ahead and try to open this. Is there a way I can? I mean, that worked. Sorta. Oh. Where did it go? What? So when I take it off screen, hold on. Oh God. So when it goes off of its screen, it just doesn't exist anymore. Well, that's a bit weird, wonky. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and I don't know. I'd rather not give up my naming conventions for things. All formats. I mean, bear with, okay? It's just what? What? Okay, that's weird. It should be here. It's right there. Wait, what? All files. Okay. Oh. Oh, it never transitioned. Oh. So everyone saw that. Oh. Oh well. I don't really care that much. But yeah, here he is in all his glory. He comfy, he powerful. I have, what is this default templating? Whoa. Ooh. I wish I could like organize this by hue or something. Like, look at all this. What is this nonsense? Sort by hue. There we go. I'm just seeing if I can get anything that looks kind of interesting. Well, the end goal is to just create a layer, so I'm gonna add a new layer and call this. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this just as a reference. Is there a way to rotate? I don't. I want to do small rotate. Adjustments. Outline. Error. That's fair, honestly, though. I also want to know what kind of resolution I have here. Because, like, look at that. It's super tiny. But now, we're going to go ahead and, I want to make something that has a little bit of a cooler palette. Sure, we'll load this. Like, this is what I wanted to see. We're going to go ahead and make black and white. And the first step is going to be to create an outline. So we're going to do a brush. Right. And we'll make it... we'll rotate this to be 90. I actually kind of like the ballpoint better. Okay. I'm still not quite used to how I want this to be. The main goal here, though, is I have an arc here. I have an arc here. And so there's an A. There's an O. And there's an A. I'm a genius. Hey, look, he's cool. He got the shades on. Whooshing. All right, time to redo all that. Ah, there we go. Also, there's a lot of white. So let's kind of start this out like this. Take this. I made that box so I had a reference. That outline might be too thick. Ink. Simple ink. Shading. Man, I can't wait to the point when I can get good enough when I can do this while talking. Like, man, oh man, does it take a bajillion brain cells to focus on this. Also, might as well, I'll just jump into live streaming. So if anyone wants to join, they can. After all, I've got a group of friends, which are more accurately, I have a brother who's really into art, and he has a group of friends who I'm also friends with, I hope, that are really good at art, especially comparatively to me. Also, I basically just made this character with a few simple things in mind. I was literally like, I want a hooded helmet, and it's weird. So like, if I had to describe it, right? And just create something real quick. So like, I am la engineer, right? Google AI, there we go. So, also let me go ahead and just save this as default.
Default!
Hi. Hello there.
I saw you sitting in here, and I was wondering what you were doing all by yourself, but I guess I found out.
Yep, I am live streaming. I also have a second headset, and I didn't realize that it was so loud that when you said default, I heard an echo through my second set of headphones.
I heard the echo.
Oh, okay. I was also having an echo earlier, and I'm now realizing what that echo was.
It was you the whole time.
Well, I theoretically should have stopped it now, but I'm not going to disconnect it just in case.
I mean, I could scream again, but I don't think you want that.
Not really.
I mean, that's a good choice. If you said yes, I would do it, but I would also question how sane you actually were.
Well, you see, sanity is something I gave up on a long time ago.
Nope.
Right.
Anyway, you got a link to your stream, Duper?
Do I? Somewhere, yes.
I mean, I
hold
would
on.
hope you have a link to it somewhere, because I never see you posting it at all.
Yeah, I am still not, like, I'm been trying to get into a more of a consistent schedule before I start actively promoting my own stuff. So
That's fair, but sometimes it's better to just slap it everywhere than just kind of be like, I want to get on a schedule. It's like you have to just do what you can to help yourself before you can say, I'm gonna do this.
Does that work?
All time.
I don't think that worked. Hold on.
Yeah, you gave me a link to a channel.
Oh, is that how that worked? Wait, no, I don't want to. I want to just copy. All right, hold on. Let me just open my own link so I can copy my own link. That's not even the right thing. What? What? Sure. Here. This should theoretically work. Let me get rid of the first one. Delete.
Oh,
delete.
are you doing it on the YouTubes?
I am doing it on the YouTubes, and the reasoning is because I don't want to do Twitch. Well, the initial reason was because my first game that I wanted to do was this is the character I'm working on right now. The first game that I wanted to do was Overwatch. And in order to get myself out there, I realized, being on Twitch was not the smartest move, as there's already an established fan base and they don't really promote you on Twitch. Plus, they delete all your content after like 14 days. Unless you're a Prime member, and even then they still delete all your content after 60 days. Meanwhile, on YouTube, everything I do gets archived, and whenever I want, I can go back and re-download the videos that are archived, if I so choose, and be able to edit them down, make YouTube videos, and do something along those lines. So I decided, just for my own growth, I would do YouTube more. And then as I started doing it, I transitioned from Overwatch to Hollow Knight, specifically speedrunning Hollow Knight. And then I was like, well, man, now I kind of wish I was back on Twitch. It's a little bit smaller of a community. But
yeah, it is.
I mean, now I do a bunch of different things. I do Darksiders is the current series I'm working on. I'm also doing. I played a thing called Deponia, which that's a game. It's definitely a game. And I'm also doing art, which YouTube doesn't even have a category for. So
that is dumb. It should. Anyway, tell me how you're doing this, guy. Are you working with just 2 layers?
Yeah. So right now, I physically drew this just because I had an OC concept and all it was is 2 things really: cloak made out of wings, and a hood where I have a pointed section here, and then now if you look closely, you can see I have an A, an O, and an A for Arc of Abyss. That was literally all I did. I went, I'm gonna draw it, and so then I drew it, and now I have this Archeon of the Abyssal Plains character. And I showed my brother, and he's like, yeah, he looked comfy. And I'm like, he is comfy. That is accurate.
So what size are you making this image at?
I took a picture of it with my phone, and then I saved it in MS Paint as a PNG, and then I opened it in Asprite. So it's that sized.
So it's about the size of your original picture. Well, let me give you a small tip here when it comes to doing pixels.
Okay.
With most pixel art, you tend to want to stay a little more on the small size. Not all the time, but a lot of the time you're looking for, something not more than about 500 by 500 most of the time.
See, I'm still at the stage where I used a pencil, and I like making scratch marks with pencils because when I was first starting off with art back in middle school and stuff, when I learned cross hatchings and stuff like that, I was very big into the pencil shading, the what are those things called? The rubber erasers that you use to blend the shades together, for better gradients. I would that would be the thing that I would normally use for a lot of detail stuff. I was not pixel. Is that I don't know how else to really describe that, as much as I didn't really deal with converting it to digital stuff as much as it was very much hand-drawn stuff. And then I realized that there was a limit to my own talent with that, and it was either spend a crap ton of time like my brother did just learning as much as I can about it, or go pursue other things like engineering. And we both know where that went.
Well, I do this sort of stuff all the time. I could toss you a few examples if you want of things I've done like this, because what I do is basically the same thing as this. I draw a picture of what I want, put it onto the computer, and take it to the right program, though I tend to try and make sure it's the size I want it to be. Because if it's something this big, you're going to be on it for a while.
Well,
and you want to try and mitigate not spending too much time on something.
So here's a question. This is my first OC, right? So would you recommend that as a person just starting out, having something that you just spend like a lot of time on, that till you point where you can get it to where you're happy with it, that it would actually be more practical for your first one to do essentially that, and then for later ones, when you're mass producing a lot of similar types. So like, for example, I'm creating a game. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but for that game, it's going to be a Metroidvania 2D platformer. And there's stereotypes with that in terms of like, well, not stereotypes, what's the right word? Common elements that are spanned across multiple Metroidvanias. And as a result, there's a lot of relatively, for lack of a better word, samey type of enemies. Enemies that are jumpers.
Could you real quick go back to what you initially asked? Like, was it like if you should spend a whole lot of time on your first one? Then try to... Yeah, that's generally a better idea. Like, you have to get used to how you're going to do this first and foremost.
Right. So, that's where I'm at right now with this is I planned... prepare your eyes. Okay, first off, I'm sorry in advance. Second off, I decided last week that I'm going to be doing art streams, and that's purely because I haven't been keeping true to my own promises, where on the weekend I said to myself I would create content for my game. And there's multiple ways of doing that. I'm using the Godot engine, right? That's how I'm doing all the physics and stuff. But then I also need to do music for it, I need to do artwork for it, and I need to do animation work for it. And so I haven't been doing any of that. And in order to really do a lot of the programming, it's really helpful to have some animated sprites, which I have some, but they don't really look good. So I told myself, hey, I'm just going to go ahead on a Thursday, I'll make that my art stream. So my current setup is Monday and Tuesday is either going to be Darksiders, I think I'm going to just make on Monday. Tuesday, I'm going to make random Deponia for right now. And then on Wednesday, it's either going to be whatever I play on Monday, or it's going to be GM Squad, depending if they need a fifth person.
Right.
And then Thursdays, I'll do art. I'm never looking forward to it because I just make a fool of myself, but I'm going to be repeatedly doing it.
People out of their stuff when they're learning something new.
Oh,
you can't
right.
expect not to. You're just trying to get into this.
Exactly.
And no one can blame you if something doesn't turn out well. You're just learning.
Exactly. This was my first... Stream caught up, I can tell. Let me go ahead and...
That looks a little possessed.
So I started off, so I know the general basics, okay? I'm not fresh off the boat, right? So what I started off was with light blue and dark blue linings. This was not, as fleshed out as this was. But this is the template that I basically created from scratch, and then I added a hair template on top of that, and then from there I took a better stab at the general outline of what it should be, and then I started to mess around with shading, and then I realized that this thing was gonna haunt me in my nightmares, and so the shading I did this stream, this used to be the same shape as this palm. I made them look more like hands this stream.
That was not a good idea. I'm telling you right now, it would have been better as nubs. Because now you've got a little man with no arms but hands, and he looks like he's going to just grab something. Like, have you ever put like your hands like into your shirt and you just have like your hands poking out while your arms are in? It looks like that.
Yeah, and it's enough that the perspective on the body does not match anything with all the proportions of everything else. Initially, I wanted to make like a Link person, right? Like from Game Boy Advance, or I'm trying to think of more like chibi level and person. But then I started creating these hands, and I went, well, okay, I need to make the fingers angled. Okay, now how do I make the thumb? Well, here's how I make the thumb, and then I just zoned out, and I just focused on making the thumb for a solid, like, I don't even know how long. I think I spent like 20 minutes on it.
Which is part of the problem.
They look good, but they look too realistic for the proportions of everything else, because it looks like his entire arm is a hand.
I mean, yeah, the thing is with chibis, if you kind of want to keep them simple, I have a comic that's just entirely full of goddamn chibi dudes. So it's, one of those things. I might as well send you another link to that so you can just kind of look at that too. It's not like we're just gonna send you a bunch of stuff that's just like, look at all the crap I can do, so you can see all the stuff I've done.
Honestly, and I'm sorry in advance, brother, if you watch this, or Niv as well, but I think is it a manga or comic? I think comic technically, because it's
say it whatever you want.
Okay. It looks like, manga style to me, so I'm gonna call it a manga. But it looks, more professional is the best way I can put it. Like, the shading is on point. I'm gonna go ahead and actually, I don't have any viewers besides you, but I'm gonna go ahead and show it just because I can, as a power I have. Let me open it. Well, let me just, okay, well, we're gonna go ahead and edit this on the live.
Just kind of show it.
Window capture.
Everyone kind of has their strengths and weaknesses when it comes to art. Some people are really good at colors. Other people are really good at forms or shapes and stuff.
Oh, yes. That's the thing, right? Yeah. I know what I'm good at. The issue with what I'm good at is it's not what I need for my game. If that makes sense. Well,
you have to play to your own strengths to some extent, If you ignore your strengths just to try to be something you're not, then you're gonna end up hurting yourself in some regard, aren't you? I can understand wanting to build yourself up into a way you want. There's nothing wrong with that, of course. But
right.
You should play to your strengths. There's a whole entire reason that I made that comic like I did. Yeah, with these little chibi guys.
Yeah.
I did that because I don't want to draw people realistically, or, well, as realistically as I do in my toony style. I don't want to do that. It's way more difficult drawing that much detail. And even then, I am drawing so much detail into this comic, more than I probably should, admittedly.
And honestly, I feel like it's a really a personal preference kind of thing, where,
oh yeah, of course,
like, as you're pointing out, you're absolutely right. You should play into your strengths if you can. The downside is that what I'm really good at is just like abstract stuff, and it's kind of the things that, like, what I'd be decent at is if there is a universal thing where I'm creating some abstract, like, background for my game. I could probably do that. The issue I also have though with that is I take a lot of time, because as I did with the hand on the other guy, for no reason I will find something and I'll just tweak it, because I'll just be like, oh, I could just do a little bit more. I can edit that a little bit more like this, or I can make that shading just slightly better by adding it in this way, or I can go ahead and.
That is something as an artist that'll get you in the end.
Yeah.
Like, my teachers talked about it all the time. She say this: sometimes you need to drop what you're doing, because the more you try to tweak it and make it better, you'll end up ruining it.
Yep. And then I just keep going, like, I'll control Z a bunch, right? And sometimes it'll to the point where I'm like, well, man, I can't even control Z anymore. But like, doing things with layers, doing things where, like, let me go ahead and open up some of my dirt sprites. Like, doing things like this, where this is a continuous pattern, right? Where you would go ahead and you would tile it down. Oh, hey, look, my brother's viewing. But yeah, so, like, things like this I can create.
Still on the screen, by the way, man. So
Oh yes, yeah, no, I know, but I was gonna be
okay.
drawing a comparison. I get distracted super easily as well.
I can kind of tell.
Yeah, so like for your art styles though, like the borders are crisp, the direction is smooth. Hello there. The
I wouldn't necessarily call those borders crisp.
I mean, compared to what I've seen, especially from the Discord server art channels, like this to me just looks like what I would find in a manga or a webtoon or a comic. Like it looks, especially, I mean, granted it's not full screen for me right now, but from what I'm looking at, right, I can tell the direction of where it's supposed to go, and the characters, they all match the same style, and they look like something that I would find in a webtoon online from somebody who's being published, right? So this is the kind of thing that eventually that I would get. Oh yeah, true. Eventually, even professional ones, even webtoons, may not be so crisp. Yeah, it's true. It's one of those things where everything to me is just like, this looks like art. This is what I envision, what I want to do. It's like watching, for me, I am also Overwatch League, big fan. The first time you watch it, you're like, man, as a player of Overwatch, that looks so awesome. That's like the peak level of what it could be. And then you go do it yourself, and you're like, this isn't. There's a skill gap here. There's a team gap here. There's a lot of gaps that does not give me the same result as what I expected. So I'm kind of just now doing these streams to be exactly that, and as the main, spending multiple times on a lot of time on a single piece is perfectly fine for now. Simply because I will be running out of ideas if I'm just blowing through it, right? Plus this is my first OC, so in this case, I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of do as long as it takes to make it kind of look good, because I'm gonna bring it back up.
That's fine.
So the end goal, right? I want a character that looks as clean as this. But from what I have seen, especially from what I know as art being an iterative process, especially on your first attempt, it's probably not going to look like this or anywhere near this. And it's disappointing when, like, I have this envisioned, like, this is the OC, right? This is my OG OC. And something that eventually I'm hoping to be like what I want to be, like part of my avatar or whatever.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't look good, it's like, that is the avatar drawn by a 2-year-old.
That's kind of one reason why you don't want to spend too much time on things either.
That's fair.
Learning. And
that's
if you
also
spend too
fair.
much time on something, you're just gonna psych yourself out, just being like, if you.
And that's part of the reason why I'm live streaming, right? Because then I have people like you go, hey, it's fine, stop freaking out, it's fine, just go ahead and call it a day, and then revisit it later, because if this is your main OC, right, you're gonna draw him a million times, and every time you draw him, you're gonna get better at drawing him, faster at drawing him, and he's gonna look better every single time. And it's like, yeah, it's true, but it's not good now. But yeah, it's part of the reason why I'm doing these live streams, is to get over that mental hump, because God knows I ain't doing it on my own.
Yeah. There is a lot of places you could start when doing art. Oh, you're not doing it on a new layer, are you?
You are absolutely right.
You should do that. Hold on, you don't have to undo all of that.
Well,
no. Trust me, I can help you with this. Redo all that real quick.
Oh. Done. The issue though is that, like,
alright. Let me open a sprite for you. No, don't undo things.
I've not. I just hid layers.
You can copy and paste that black outline onto a new layer.
Ooh. How do I undo the eraser marks though?
It's fine if the eraser marks are there. Was there anything of important detail there? It didn't seem like it to me.
No, just the outline of the
Yeah.
hood, which that's the main thing of this OC that I'm trying to. The newest thing for me to draw is a hood, like cloth level stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I like helmets more, but I think helmets look dumb. But helmets are easier to draw because straight line.
I mean, you're not wrong. But most of it is in your head, you know. You can't let that
It's
get
true.
too far ahead of you.
It's true.
Alright.
I don't own a lot of hoodies, and when I do wear them and own them, right, like I don't wear a lot of hoodies, so I don't have a lot of reference.
Boy, what version of Aspire are you using? Because if this was like a new update, that was a while ago.
I'm on 1.2.27.
1.2.27. Alright. Do you see the selection box? It's above the pencil tool over on the right.
Yes.
At the very top.
Yep.
It's the box with the lines. Okay. You want to pick the little magic wand.
Okay.
Alright, so make sure you're on the layer where the outlines are and select them with the tool.
Can I not do multiple with control?
There you go. Oh. It's kind of hard to do multiple, but
Let me
that's
go
fun.
ahead. Let me go ahead and do something real quick as well. I don't know how easy this will be, but we'll just go ahead and do that. Just so that way you're, not necessarily you're watching the stream, but you're also able to do it in real time instead of with the delay.
So what you need to do now is press Control C. That'll copy it.
Right.
Just like anything. And if you go up to Edit, I think it's under Edit.
Edit.
Let's see. Paste special, and you want new layer out of that.
Oh. I think it's because they deselected this. So now let me reselect it. Edit. Paste special. It is not allowing me to do that.
Did you press Control C?
I did. Let me go ahead and try again. Maybe it just didn't register. There we go. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's my control button or my C button, but one of them, whenever I do it, it just doesn't do the right thing. Let me go ahead. So I noticed that the outline is still on the background layer, though.
Is it?
Yeah. So like
Well,
it made
didn't
it.
cut it. We could cut it if you want.
But if we cut it, want to just make it white?
No, it would actually make it transparent, but that doesn't necessarily matter since that's a part you've already drawn.
Oh, I mean, it makes it white because I literally opened a PNG, so the background out, like the alpha channel is white for some reason. So, I don't know if I can actually. Is there a way to edit? Is it maybe under properties? Edit
You don't necessarily need to mess with it,
It's true. I mean, it's not the end of the world if the background is white instead of transparent.
You're focusing a little bit too much on what's happening instead of what you're trying to do.
That's true.
It's like focus on the drawing right now.
Okay.
You won't need the sketch layer in the end. That thing's gonna go away. You don't need to care about it too much. Oh, what did you do? You undid a lot of stuff, dude.
I know I did. I wanted to just check something. I wanted to see how much damage was done. Because I can always redo it as long as I don't touch anything.
Oh, you don't need to care about the sketch.
But I like this sketch. You're right, but...
You already have a copy of the sketch somewhere else. After all, you have to save it as a Sprite file in order to edit it more again. You can't save it as...
It's True.
So what you could do is save it as an ASCII file right now, just to make sure you're not gonna overwrite your ping.
I think here's what I'll do. Let me go ahead and okay. There we go. There we go. Oh yeah, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but I am live in Discord as well, just so that way in case you wanted to not be on the delay from the stream. Oh, I'm still a magic wand.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, what I really want is... So, oh yeah, I was explaining this concept right before you joined. Oh my lord. Eraser. Maximum erase. Okay. So I was mentioning this before. The idea I had, which is, I know, sounds crazy, is a helmet. So if I say that this is the helmet, metal piece, right? Mm-hmm. Imagine that there is a hinge here.
Hinge.
Yes. And over top, so if this is like a front view of it, and this is a side view of it, right? Mm-hmm. Over top of this is a layer of cloth, right? And this layer of cloth, when the hinge folds back, when this turns
so
into
the cloth
this,
is draped around the helmet, basically.
right? So the cloth is around the helmet. So if I go back down to 17, there's a cloth that covers the top of this. So there's a cloth on top of there, which that's this. This is the cloth. And then when
so it's like a veil that goes over the helmet.
Right, but it's the hood here. So when the cloth is pulled back, it essentially folds inside of the helmet. So on the underside of the cloth is the metal, and when the hood basically goes down, it folds in on itself and becomes a double layered piece of metal, right? So this is double thick boy.
That may be a hard concept to illustrate.
Indeed, but that's the thought that went into this. So this helmet is rigid but cloth at the same time, if that makes sense. And that partly goes into just my obsession with relatively straight lines. Like when we planted the flag in the moon, it was like floating stiff, and it's because they had a wire hanger going across it to keep it stiff. Like something similar to that, to make it like, oh, but that's easy to draw. You just draw a rectangle on a pole, right? Like compared to an actual flag, which is like, ooh, I gotta add the fold in there and all that other stuff. That's harder to draw. So, have
you ever seen like Castle Crashers art style?
I have. I love that game. Just pull up reference to it.
When I think like angular straight lines, like that game's pretty good with its character design, mostly because the main four characters have like this big rectangular helmet that they have.
It's true. That's the best thing, right? Like every single of the games that I kind of like that are newer have that style. Like Hollow Knight, for example. Like it's very crisp, clean, but and it's just a simple design. It's just a circle with horns. Hollow Knight.
See, that's the thing where a lot of people don't seem to get. More people are like all the detail, when really you're supposed to keep it simple, stupid, you know?
It's true, but I think they're like me, where once you finally start, you're so excited that you got it started finally, that you don't want to stop. And it's easy
That's
to
fair.
yeah, it's easy to do something once you've started it, but once I'm done with this OC, right? Like it's gonna be very hard to stop this OC, especially since I've already stated that it's gonna take a while.
You better keep working on it then.
I mean,
You don't
I
have
will.
to keep explaining to me how things work or how something is supposed to look, especially when you're
fair.
working on your picture.
Well, I'm also explaining, but more first time than you. You know, I'm gonna want to try to explain what at least I know, both to explain my reasoning to the people watching, whoever is watching this in the future, as well as explain to you my understanding of things to see where it may differ from what you think, because you know, let's be fair here, you in comparison are definitely the expert in this situation. So
If I say what I thought all the time, then it probably wouldn't end very well.
I mean,
It's
it's true for everyone.
With me, I see things mostly at face value, which isn't a bad thing, but I can be kind of blunt when it comes towards other people's works. Because when you do a lot of art, you tend to compare a lot of stuff to what you can do. And if you can't do it, it's like, it's amazing. But if you can see how they did it, you're kind of like, I see what they did there. And you basically decide if you like it or don't like it. Basically, if they were more creative or did something different, or if it's just overall pleasant, then you're probably gonna like it. And if it's not anything like how you would do it, you're just like, it's not good.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I think that comes down to so as a fellow relatively blunt person, it comes down to like, and I'm sure you know this already, but it's like picking your battles more or less. It comes down to like, am I going to want to tell them the truth because it'll help them? Are they willing to accept what I say as, you know, constructive criticism? Or is it just going to be unneeded, like, you know, this is what I thought because I would do it this way. And they're going to be like, well, F you, I did it this way and I like it. And, you know, and then it's just like, well, who benefits from that?
Part of it is, what are they looking for? Do they want your help?
Right.
Is this problem really a big thing? And most of the time, the answer is no. If it's a problem to you, it doesn't matter. If it's a problem to someone else and they're asking for help, then that's when you get involved in helping out.
Yep. I mean, that's the reason why, like, you can go ahead and blast my art all day long. I won't care, because that's part of the reason why I also constantly state that I suck. Because one, it sets expectations, but two, it also is an open invitation to anyone else to do either the exact opposite and be like, oh no, you're fine, you're just starting out, or be like, yeah, you suck, you want to be better? And I'll be like, hell yes I do. It's like, right now the only answer is the same answer to my Overwatch conundrum, where I suck at Overwatch, you know, not as badly as other people, but I do suck at compared to, you know, the top 10% or whatever. And the only reason why I suck is because I just haven't played enough, right? It's the same thing with art. I just haven't done enough art to actually be good. I just need to do more. Just be better, forehead.
One of the things you can do, by the way, is right, is you can actually use the color picker tool to pick out transparent colors and use them instead of having to go over to the eraser tool. And you can have that as your secondary color, which is what I do all the time.
Let me go ahead and
Oh, there
secondary.
you
Oh, whoa! It clicked out.
go. Oh, you made it primary too.
Yeah, I made the mistake, but I have since fixed the mistake. Stop selecting that, please.
One of the thing, like, how are you gonna color your wings here?
TBD. One idea I had is to create a gradient. So the way I typically do gradients in this is I just choose a random color, like let's say this. I paste it here, and then I select to how many I want to create the gradient, so how diverse I want to make it, and use the gradient tool. And then I use this as like a shading. And so then what I'll do is I'll choose the bottom one, I'll color the entire thing, then I'll create a line wherever I want, where I think it's about 1/8, and then I'll once I make that line, I'll fill in the rest above it, and then I'll just slowly do that as I go up.
You're using the fill tool for that, right?
Yes, and now I'm going to use it in conjunction with the magic wand as well, because before what I do is I create an entire rectangle around it. But now I can use the magic wand tool, now that I know that exists, and just kind of select this entire thing and then do it.
Copy your outline layer for when you're ready to add the color and just kind of boop it in there when you need it. And you could also erase part of the outline when you don't want there to be outline.
That's fair.
Part of the reason why I asked that is, and I'm not dissing your art or anything.
Go for
Wings
it.
are very hard. But to me, it kind of looks like he's wrapped up in a quilted blanket right now because of all the, hashing going on there.
Yep, and that's actually part of the thought. The original thought was I wanted it to be a one-winged thing where he has... my original OC was complicated, where I had yin yang, and I had, like, basically he's not a fallen archangel. He's become what's called an archeon of the abyssal planes, where he's basically guarding a gate to a realm beyond our understanding, or something along those lines. And so I would have one wing that was more abyssal and one wing that was his heritage. And then I realized that anatomically, that's just not gonna work well. Having a single wing go from his right shoulder, covering his entire thing, sort of like how Hollow Knight's Ghosts, I think is what the main character's name is. When he gets the Mothwing cloak, he has. Let me see if I can pull up
what the main character's just called the Knight. No, not the Knight.
I think he's called Ghost.
Because the other one's called the Hollow Knight.
Yeah, THK, the Hollow Knight, is the main boss.
Mm-hmm. But I think he's called the Knight.
He might be. Let me look it up. Hollow Knight, MC name. The Knight has no official name in game. However, people on the commonly used title by the developers is the Knight. So yeah, I think you are correct.
Mm-hmm.
But
I have just a bunch of infinite knowledge stored in my head, which is probably why I'm just as good as art as I am. Like, I can remember images very clearly, textures, what creatures look like, and the like. References are still good to have for stuff, of course, but I remember everything, and that goes for not just images, but a lot of information I know just clings to my brain.
I mean, that's honestly, I know, sometimes I wish I had that. My abilities is more 3D visualization, which in art isn't always great, but if I'm doing something like Blender sculpting, which at some point I plan to do for this OC, I will be able to actually kind of do it pretty well, I feel.
Being able to see things in 3 dimensions is actually very good for art, but it depends on what kind of art you're doing. Like, if it's very 2D, like this character is, say they're like the characters from, what was that game I mentioned earlier?
Castle Crusher?
If they look like that, then they look better flat without like too much depth and stuff.
So
But of course, you can always add depth to things.
So
sometimes it's better to imagine things as flat, and other times it's better to imagine things as three-dimensional. Me, I always draw things as if they're three-dimensional in my head, which leads to better angles and stuff like that. Like, I don't think anyone should ever draw their character as flat. There are exceptions to this. Like, if you have something really toony, like in Adventure Time, then it's fine to draw the character kind of flat, so the animation can give the character life. You don't have to worry about angles too much and that sort of thing. You're just trying to see what's interesting, what's funny, what's nice to view.
Right. And I feel like that's the part that I'm sort of not even there yet, where all I know is I don't like things being flat. I like things being detailed, sometimes stupidly so, and I am very detailed oriented, where I will dive into it and get lost. You know, I'll just keep going on one little thing, even though that one little thing doesn't matter. It's the same, like, I have an app called Storyboarder, and the first thing I learned with Storyboarder is that it helps you create stories by giving you, a timing of when you should move on to the next scene, more or less. And I was drawing the background, I was drawing like a ship for where the scene was taking place, and in the middle of me just drawing the outline of everything, it's like, all right, next scene, and I'm like, I haven't finished drawing what do you mean? And like, by the time I finished the first scene, it had gone through 5 scene reminders and created autosaves as like where I should go, and I was just like, I was supposed to apparently make 5 scenes in the time I spent making this one scene.
Well, with most stuff like that, it expects you to be kind of quick, honestly. The greatest thing that you can do when making art is to finish it. There's a point where you have to stop yourself from spending too much time on something. And there are times where it's hard to multitask. I know you're having trouble really drawing as you're talking to me, so I'm sorry if I'm distracting you.
No, you're fine. This is good, because I drew from my imagination first and foremost, because that's what I wanted, and now I'm getting more and more like reference material is the best way to put it. Because, like, for example, I brought up an image about the Hollow Knight, or the Knight, and his cloak, right? It's just a simple cloth, but that's more or less what I want his wings to be, because it's not his main attribute. Right. He's, like in the lore, if you care about that. Like, I have an entire thing because I have my own story, and I have spin-offs of said story that didn't fit into the original story, so they became their own stories.
You don't have to keep explaining stuff.
Yeah.
You get it.
I mean,
it's part of the story.
Yeah, I mean, I also enjoy explaining things because I'm a chatterbox.
Have you tried using some of the line tools? Like, if you go over towards the right, right there, the line tool, click it. There's a curved line tool there.
Oh Lord,
I
have used it before. I have used it before, as is evident. Oh my Lord!
You double clicked.
I double clicked? I didn't even think I double clicked. Yeah. Oh.
Sometimes it happens.
What?
You are double clicking a lot.
But I'm not though.
You clearly are, if that's the case.
Well, I mean, isn't it supposed to be creating a spline? Isn't it?
Spline.
Like, I have to. So I click the first point. I click the next point to like release it, right?
Yeah.
So wait, it takes 3 clicks to release? What?
Okay, here's what you do. You click the tool, and you press and hold it, then you drag it, then you release it, and that is what creates it.
Oh.
And you can bend it twice.
Whoa!
So if you go to where, say down towards like the top of it, and you pull down. Like, go to where the top of one of those feathers are.
Okay.
And
Like
pull
here.
it down to where the bottom is. Not what I was thinking. Where does that feather start? Like the very top of it.
I mean, I could do it like this, I suppose.
No, not what I mean. Like, go up to where the very side of it, dude. Like, where... Yeah, up.
I think the lag here is what's really killing me.
Okay. Let me open something real quick.
I am streaming on Discord as well, if you want to open that up, so that way you can see me in real time.
Alright. I'm just gonna quickly circle the part I'm talking about. Alright. Let's see. I don't... there's not like a live streaming thing here. I'll just post this to you here. So, you see that spot?
Oh, I see. Yes.
Alright. So, what you should do is drag that all the way to where that line ends.
Okay.
Right here. You know. And then bend it.
But bend it where?
Bend it. What do you mean bend it where? Follow your lines. Where does that line go, dude?
The issue though I have is that it's like
there. See, that's the line.
So the part that I have confused is that like if I do this, like it creates a cool spline that will match like a correct curve, but it also makes a new line over my background that I'm not exactly sure how it lines up with everything else. If that makes sense. It might not make sense.
It doesn't have to be accurate to your sketch. You never want to be 100% accurate to the sketch, but you aren't doing this quite like I expected it to. Like, you have that line. Like, follow the line down and just use the spline tool to match it. It'll help you go a bit faster since you're not drawing each and every line all over again. See it like that. See, there's the line. No, you're not trying to get that curve up. You're just trying to make it curve with that one part of it.
My brain is melting.
Do I need to show you in another way? Because I will.
If you go, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it's a lag because every time that you're like, hey, yeah, that's what you should be doing. I had already I was pushing Control Z when you said that, and I was like, what? What am I doing?
Yeah, that's kind of hard when you know things like that are happening.
That's why I was saying
that?
if you wouldn't do it, yeah.
Like
match that. I see what you're saying. So watch the stream in like 7 seconds, and you'll see what I did.
Yeah, I see it. But you could just do that for most of them.
Yeah. Honestly, that makes things a lot cleaner as well.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons I suggested that to you.
Yeah.
If you're gonna redo a lot of that, then you need to do it on a new layer, though.
That's fair.
Otherwise, you're just doing it over all of them.
See, this is the reason why.
Yeah. One of the reasons you could do is you could use a different color to help it stand out from all the other outlines. Don't call it bad, just call it first try. You never want to.
Both are accurate. But both are accurate.
Yeah, but you want to be positive about it.
Nah, screw that. I'm only positive about other people.
No, you can be positive about yourself.
I could be, but where's the entertainment value in that? Pray tell. What am I going to...
Just be nice to yourself, dude.
When it's warranted, I will be. See, the issue I have sometimes is, like, I play a lot of, like, competitive games, and so, like, I'm a hit scan player, right? When I make a good play, you'll know. For better or for worse. Like, I'm humble most of the times, but when something just feels really good, like, I'll slip in one of those "F you bitches," you know? But when it comes to, like, this, where I'm still learning, and I'm obviously not, like... Match this real quick. There's an obvious gap of skill. I'm going to be very demeaning to myself, just because that's my own way of self-motivation.
I know some people work like that, but there are some things that you gotta think positively. Like, yeah, this looks better now, doesn't it?
It does.
You may have had to redo some of it, but you're redoing it faster. It's going by quickly.
Absolutely.
It's not a bad thing to mess up, because you're learning from it at the end of the day.
Absolutely. 100% agree. Still gonna call the last one bad because that's the truth.
I mean, you can call it bad all you want, but your first try is never gonna be good.
Exactly. That's why it's bad. Hence why I called it that.
You know, when I look at my own art, I don't see it for how bad it is. Because it's bad, but I see of how I learned from it. So I never really call it bad. I'm just like, oh, that's when
fair.
I learned to do this. That's when I learned to do that. And this is when you learned how to do that.
That's fair. And I mean, it's not like this doesn't have its own limitations, right? Like, the bumps in the wings aren't exactly.
Well, you can. Well, I wouldn't have done it for like the sides, but I would have done it for the individual wings going, you know, diagonally, not the edges.
The way that I look at outlines,
use the line tool to create the bumps.
Right. I feel like the way I'm using the outline tool, though, in terms of just my own mentality, is the fact that I'm using it more as a reference, right? Where I'm, ooh, that was a new thing I just did there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to be.
Most people don't get about sketches. They're references for what you're going to do. You don't have to follow the sketch 100%, and if you do, sometimes the art will come out wonky for it. Whenever I'm messing with my sketches, I just correct the hell out of them, like, in the computer, just to get it more like how I want it to before I actually move on to the final part. So, and even when I do that, there will be things I'll change about it on the fly, being like, this could be a little different, that hand's a little wonky, what the heck is up with those eyes, you know.
What the heck is Ligma?
It's where I want it to be.
Yeah. Whoa. Boop, boop. There we go. Now, the reason why I'm doing it like this as well is that I wanted each individual thing in my own art, like when I was doing the sketch, to be bumped. But sometimes it just didn't work out like that.
Yeah,
so,
that's fine.
I'm just explaining my thought processes so it is captured on the recording. This will be cleaned up later, so that's fine. I can go ahead and clean this up later as well. So that's the other thing, is like I'm okay with overwriting the bumps because I know that I can also just take the eraser tool to this specific section, do that, and like adjust it as need be.
Use the curve tool again.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
What is this shortcut? Shift L? I barely ever use the line tool because it's just not like conducive to what I've needed to do for the most part.
Line tools in different programs are pretty different. Like in Photoshop, it's really different there. Like, I hate that sort of stuff.
Let me go ahead and do one of these. Shift L. It's also really handy for just cloth in general, because it's real easy to make that flow like
It's good for anything curved, this tool. Like,
yeah.
it's good if you got a long straight line that just has a few curves in it. Like, say, just the section between your wrist and your elbow, that area is usually pretty straight with just a couple bumps in it to just make it how it is. One line for the top, one line for the bottom, you got it.
Yeah.
Art's all about shortcuts. And if anyone tells you otherwise, then they haven't been doing art for very long. But it's also about using those shortcuts in a way that makes sense to you. Because if you're using the shortcuts but you don't know why you're using them, then it's not going to turn out very well.
Yeah, and I feel like in my eyes, at least, as a relative newbie, right? My eyes, art is about vision, where if you don't like the shortcuts, the reason why you know how to use them is in large part because you know where you want to go to, right? As you were pointing out to me before, like, you were asking, what is it you're trying to do? Like, you know, don't stray too far down the path of selection tools and stuff when, you know, you're just trying to solve how to make a curved thing look better. So it's same idea with the tools and whatnot, where, like, you know, if you don't know your shortcut, I mean, a lot of that comes down from, you know, what are you trying to do? If you don't know what you're trying to do, right? You don't know what shortcut you're going to want to make.
Knowing what tool to use for your shortcut, it's why are you taking the shortcut in the first place, and what does it mean, shorthand? Like, a lot of people, when, you know, in the last, I want to say 15 years, which makes me feel old, but whatever. A lot of kids in the last 15 years, when they've wanted to do art, they always start with an anime style, because they're like, I want to draw like anime, and that feels like JoJo. A simple human. Maybe not like JoJo, but, you know, like standard anime face that's just the same on every character in most animes. And they don't really understand why they want to take that shortcut. And even then, a lot of times, proportions are off. The character looks wonky. The eyes are different sizes or not in the right place. And they only do it in like 3/4 view. Or they do it straight on all the time. And it just looks weird because they're doing it the same exact way with no variation.
Wow, I'm happy you're saying that, only because I'm just having flashbacks to all the times that I did exactly those things.
Yeah, and it's not bad to draw things that you like or anything like that, but it's bad to do it when it's like, you know, a cartoon or something, and you don't know why your work doesn't look quite good as what is on the page.
It's actually,
because most people will kind of think that to themselves.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest deterrent, right? Like, you think that about yourself, and you're like, man, it's not what I thought it was. Man, it must suck. And it's like, well, I mean, that's subjective.
It's all about training your eyes and your hand to figure out, okay, how do I create this shape that I want onto my page? Whether it's something you're seeing or something in your head.
Exactly. By the way, shout out to Nace, because I just had a major flashback to when I used to create art when so I was like in kindergarten, he was like in 8th or 9th grade or something, and I didn't know how to do even hairstyles, and I would just give everyone a bowl cut. And it wasn't until he literally was just like, I mean, that's fair, you know, it looks good, but you know, everyone has a bowl cut in your pictures, right? And I was like, what? That's not what I drew. And then I looked back at all of them and I realized, oh, that's exactly what I drew. But it's literally just someone pointing out the little things, right? Like, oh, by the way, if you just did this thing, you know, you realize what you're drawing is this. It's not what you're thinking. And you're like, no, Oh, yes.
You know why most of those images end up looking kind of wonky with the anime face? It's because I don't draw the skeleton for the character first. And most art books don't really go into detail about what a skeleton for your sketch is supposed to look like. You can get some idea, but if they don't explain it properly or explain why you need to do this, then most kids will just kind of skip that step, which they're not supposed to do.
But it's
Because
boring.
You're just trying to get to the end result faster than you really should without learning all the in-betweens.
Yeah, because it's boring. What, you want actual proper proportions to make a thing look good, like a thing in actual reality? Psh, come on, I'm just drawing anime.
You need to know proportions if you want to draw anything that looks good. And even if your character is disproportionate, like if you look at the characters from Adventure Time, they have these thin, noodly arms and legs with just bumps for the feet. And they're still proportional most of the time to the rest of the body. There is a proportion to them, whether you realize it or not.
Well, yeah, it's true. 100% true. That's one wing done. I probably should have been smarter about this, and then, I mean, I could probably fix it now with Magic Tool, now that I know about that. How do I... Well, I guess I have the easy answer to that, which is I could just do... What's the easiest way to do this?
What are you trying to do?
What I am trying to do is I am going to take one wing and put it on a new layer, and then I am going to take the other wing, and the other wing is going to be on a separate layer, just so that way it's easier to edit. And the easiest way I think I do it is, again, using Magic Wand, which thank you again for sharing that lovely secret.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you real quick. Don't do that real quick.
Not doing it.
I'm gonna make this easier for you. We're gonna use this using different colors.
Ew.
But it's way easier, because here's how that tool works. It selects a color.
Right.
So I want you to pick just any other color. Doesn't matter what it is, as long as you
Light
can see it
blue.
against the background. You might want something a little darker than that.
Dark or light
Yeah,
blue?
You want something mid. You don't want going too dark or anything. Just saturated enough to see. Because if you go too light, it'll fade into that gray and you won't be able to tell the difference. Okay. So
Yeah.
I want you to use the brush tool. And
Brush.
you're probably going to have to shrink that a little bit. So what you need to do is you need to kind of separate it from the other part. And so what you're going to do is you're just kind of going down this entire part. And what you want, because I'm going to point this out to you, which wing is on top?
The left wing, which the one I haven't done yet.
Exactly. So you need to go and make sure you get that curve completely and block off all the little parts that cross into it. If you just take that, if you don't take that part, then you won't have it on the other layer.
Right. Well, this is interesting because what I was going to do in post was change this curve to match the wings. These portions
you can
here.
have it as a sketch of sorts then. You could just keep it there and add another layer on top of it to where you can mess around with that instead. And you could use that as a different color. So you're not always looking at a black outline and getting confused of like, okay, which outline am I working with again? Oh, that didn't connect how I wanted it to. You always want to use a bunch of different colors and then you homogenize them and you want later.
Right.
That's what you do with pixels.
That's what I'm trying to do also with why I'm not doing the hood first. Is because of exactly that reason, where I want to have, since the wings in all actuality are actually, what am I doing? I'm an idiot. The wings are on top, right? So Let me go ahead and
Yeah.
just copy
Yeah, they're
this.
on top.
So since the wings are on top of the hood, I'm going to draw the hood, you know, I'm going to draw the wings first, and then I'm draw the hood behind them. Exactly. Because I can just move the layer down once I have the references.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so the outlines, I go top wing, bottom hood. And then for colors, I go hood, bottom wing, top wing. That's how I would do it, at least. If there's a better way, feel free to let me know.
With pixels, most of your stuff is contained within itself. And what I mean by that is there's no blurring between the lines. It's just pixel against pixel, one color against another. There is no anti-aliasing of that sort, so you don't have to care too much about that. And for what you're doing, you honestly don't need too many layers.
Sorry, continue. That was directed at my own choice of colors.
Just pick one of the base colors and use that. You don't have to make a new color. You got a bunch of fine colors right there, man.
I'm just when I did the blue, I chose gray, and it looked exactly like the graphite. And
exactly. That's what I was trying to get you not to do earlier.
Right. I like black as an outline just because of the inherent meaning behind it. I like dark or light blue as well, but the issue with the light blue coloring is that it just doesn't look good against this background. Holy cow.
That's because you can't see it as well, because it's gray.
Yeah. I'm used to working on white backgrounds or transparent backgrounds.
Most backgrounds you're gonna, if you're gonna keep doing this, one of the things you're gonna have to know is, unless you take it into a program like GIMP or Photoshop and mess with the levels first, it's always gonna be gray.
That's
always
fair.
gonna be dealing with a gray background, not a white one.
And that does indeed make sense.
Yeah. It's just how the camera ends up taking in that light.
Yeah. I've learned that the hard way I take a lot of sunset photos, scenery type stuff. And
if you ever want to get a good sunset, then it needs a nice long exposure time on it, so it gets all the colors nice and vivid.
Yeah, I don't have a strong camera. Period.
Oh no, listen, most cameras you can control how long the aperture stays open, and that's the lens. How long that lens stays open affects how much information and light the camera gets, which affects the hue and saturation, but also you need to make sure that there's nothing waving around in front of it, otherwise it's gonna look kind of weird. That's how you get those weird pictures where it's a weird elongated cat.
Yeah.
They don't need to use Photoshop for that. They just need to mess with the aperture and make it stay open for a little longer to get those pictures. That's how you get about using Photoshop.
Cool. Also, bro, we're in live stream if you want to join instead of just being a lurker in chat.
He's in the other call messing with everyone there, so yeah.
That's fair.
But I like lurking.
See, there he is. I like how it wasn't even on a 7-second delay. He just instantly came in and was just like, by the way, I like lurking. He says, ha 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 ha, the bowl. Or, yes, you rang, ha 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 ha, the bowl. You need Photoshop for color modification. Yes. Indeed, all of those are true.
Use his stuff.
If we were under the same house, yes, but I am in my own place.
He can let you have that. You don't even have to be in the same house to use the same account for that.
Ooh. This is don't give him ideas, don't give him ideas.
Yeah, Art.
Why am I hearing whispering of the damned inside my ears?
Oh, it's your dumb brother.
Nah, I gotta turn him up.
How dare
John!
How dare.
I'm
So,
still
I've been
like,
watching.
you have. I've noticed.
I know. You have worms for lines.
They're template worms, okay? Give them time. They're growing, right? Once they're all grown up, they'll be full-fledged wings.
Whenever I start drawing art, all it does is look like a weird stick figure with ball joints on it. And it's like, that doesn't look like a person. Give me like 10 minutes and oh, I got it. What the hell? That's a person? How'd you do that?
Magic.
It's not going to start as a person, and it's never going to start off looking as how you want it to. That's one of the tricky things about art. Like, people are always like, this isn't turning out how I like it. But they haven't really they just started, and they're just looking at it and freaking out constantly.
All right. I have the perfect analogy here. Here I go. Tell them the next time someone says that, tell them to learn a Rubik's Cube and how to solve it. Because that's literally the last step where, like, every single step up until the last step, you get slightly closer to kind of looking like something. And then the last step is you just go right down, bottom left, right up, bottom right. And what that does is it messes everything up until it just magically solves the cube. So you look like a total magician because you're just like, and I'm almost there, and I'm almost there, and now I screw everything up, and now it's solved. Wait, what?
I guess that explains how people can do that blindfolded.
Yes, as long as you know the starting pattern and you know the exact moveset to go from the starting pattern you're on to solved.
Yeah.
You just do it.
You don't flip it on yourself by accident. Whoopsie.
Yeah, that's why you're skilled, you know? Like, if you're good, you don't have to worry about that.
Wait. Nace is skilled?
I never said that.
Why
Who said
did you
that?
say that?
I don't know. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
Just being insane.
It's not gonna work. Okay.
It's okay, you just don't like being dunked on. I don't like that either.
Yes, I, who dunks on myself quite regularly and in return get dunked on regularly, don't like getting dunked on.
It's okay. We all know it. We just do it anyway.
What I don't like is my bits just getting chopped in half.
Your bits?
Yes, my bits. Don't touch my bits.
This isn't a Twitch stream. No one's touching your bits.
She's right, you know.
If you're talking about any other bits, you probably shouldn't. This is YouTube. They're gonna demonetize this video.
Oh, you think I'm getting monetized?
Monetization.
That's a good one. What was I doing? Why am I doing this? Here we go.
You're messing with his quilt.
Yes.
Look, he needs to be all snuggly and warm. He needs to be cozy.
That's the end goal, right? Like, the whole lore behind him is actually the fact that he didn't like what had transpired in a war, so now he just wants to be, you know, the peaceful abyssal guardian. So he just lives out his days in peace because he just wants to be nice and comfy.
He looks like me on a winter day when I'm just curled up in as many blankets as I can, and I'm getting a cup of hot chocolate, and I just want to say cuddle up in this snuggie or something, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something you guys wouldn't understand because Florida exists.
Yeah, especially summertime.
Look. Wintertime Florida allows for plenty of times to cuddle up into the blankets with the hot cocoa. No snow, granted,
Exactly.
but still cold enough for Floridians.
Yeah, there's sometimes I actually need one whole blanket on me. It's
I
insane.
know. It's just insanity.
No, honestly, we have a bigger issue, which is it's so hot all the time that we run our AC units like as cold as we can to stay comfy. But then sometimes it's hard to regulate when you're going from 95 plus humidity to like 60 degrees or something, right? Or 70 degrees, probably more reasonable. Like,
I've lived in Texas. Trust me, I know exactly what you're talking about.
right. It just, I don't know.
let's-
Maybe it's just the AC in this apartment complex. But sometimes it doesn't keep it at a temperature. It just overshoots it by a bunch, and then it's like, it'll warm up to tell me when it gets 10 degrees hotter, and then I'll kick back on and kick it down to 60 degrees for you. Like, I'm constantly in a blanket just to be sweltering like 20 minutes later, just to be frozen another 20 minutes later as the AC kicks on.
Yes.
Yeah, that is
Florida
what I
problems.
call bad.
Well, let's not forget those summer days where the AC decides to go kaput and you can't, take off all your clothes and you're still hot and you can't take off anything else.
I just
Look,
want to take
if
off
you
my
guys had
skin.
to take off all of your clothes just to be relatively cool, then I'm sorry. You're living on the sun. I have never had that problem particularly.
Oh my! You've never experienced the pain that is like the ice bucket challenge, but instead of it being a challenge, it's just a constant state of I want ice on my body, but all the ice is melted because I've spent it all on just trying to stay cool for one day.
Dude, I
Yes.
overheat in my bed at night all the time. It is not fun.
It is
My
not.
back just starts heating up and I have to stay on it. And it's like, no, why am I being tormented so? And it's like the worst thing ever. Because
Indeed.
that is my back just being warm for no good reason. And I can't make it, not warm because that is a flesh and blood problem. That is not a clothing problem, not necessarily. And I could take off all the covers, but that's just uncomfortable.
It's like being in space, right? Like you get to choose which side do you want to be completely eviscerated by the scorching sun, and which side do you want to be completely frozen, encased in ice from the deep cold abyss. Like you don't get the medium. You get one or the other, or both at the exact same time. No choice here.
Exactly. No choice. And then I abscond.
Oh, goodbye.
Goodbye. Enjoy your cape, quilt, Spider-Man.
He's not a spider. What? My favorite part is the fact that I literally would never have thought quilt in my life until he mentioned it.
You never would have thought quilt, seriously?
I mean, honestly, no, but that's because I know what I was going for. And in my head, I'm like, it's not perfect, but it is close enough to what I envisioned that if another engineer friend saw it, he'd be like, it's a person with like feathers, or like he took a giant eagle, killed it, and made it his coat or something. Like that. Like that's the kind of my mentality. I wouldn't be like, yes, he has a big snuggie on. Look at that big onesie.
Looks like a big snuggie. I mean,
heck, it
never.
looks cozy.
It does look cozy, but I would never have thought those are eagle wings or whatever.
I mean, they're like angel. Well, okay. Also, keep in mind.
I told him that the wings were fine, Nash. You don't get to talk.
Exactly.
I do get to talk. He's my brother.
Exactly. Wait. But you don't see the actual feathery portion. Like I get it that it looks like frills when you say quilt, but at the same time it's not, because it's not like double seamed. So like in my head I'd be like, okay, that's feathers, but I don't know. I feel like it is weird because like this one's shorter than the rest, and on a bird that wouldn't be the case considering it would follow along this entirety of it, but
okay. It is not the edge where the quilt thing or the feathers are kind of poking out. That's not the problem. The problem is the rest of it, where it looks like it's been stitched together with all these stitch lines.
well, that's
it makes
the lines
it look
between
like
the
a
feathers.
quilt.
That's just the pencil line. And also, he put those lines there so he could color it later, which means
Exactly.
a lot more.
I'm
It's also
talking
true,
about the
but also
square
keep in
grids.
mind that like
That's why it's square looking.
oh wow, that's
That's
taller
not
than I
going to be
thought.
the outline the entire time.
Keep in mind, like this was one of my reference points, was something more along this lines. Although initially I wanted it to just be one giant wing going across, and then I realized anatomically that just wouldn't look good no matter what I did.
I mean, of course.
Yeah, like the closest I could get it was if the there was a scarf like going across here, and then the wing covered and came up, like it went down and up. But even then, it's just like having a wing naturally bend in a curved manner is like going down and then back up for the top edge of the wing is just not feasible. So I was left with one or two
joints
things.
in the wings right there.
I mean,
Don't get me started on bird morphology and how birds don't make sense, because they don't.
I was about to say, I think you just gave me like new nightmare fuel. Like, imagine a double jointed.
The skeleton of a bird.
I have, but imagine like literally a wing that looks like this, where like, you know how a normal wing is. Oh my lord, I forgot I was on the line tool, but like a normal wing like curves like that. Let me go just do brush. Oh my goodness. Okay, there we go. A normal wing is like, you know, they all kind of like sort of make sense with their feathers and stuff. Now imagine a wing that bent here, had a joint, and then bent again like a bat wing. But instead of it going this way, like let's say it went like this, right? Like imagine that, you know, coming at you, where it's got a double winged, a double jointed double wing for its wing here, and it's like
You mean a
brokenly
dragon?
flapping. No, because the dragon, the joint, right? Like it goes the same way, right? Like imagine if
People
one
call
joint just
dragon
went backwards.
like that, dude.
Google what?
People can draw dragons like that, dude. I could draw a dragon like that.
I suppose that's fair.
I mean,
I just
yeah,
wouldn't
it can
imagine
be
that.
drawn like that.
I mean, I
Because
can.
you can't imagine that doesn't mean it can't be drawn.
It's more of I didn't want to imagine that because it's terrifying. That's like saying, you know, all the guys who make creepypastas or the guys who make like Siren Head and stuff. It's like, yeah, you could have just kept that in your brain and not shown that to everyone else. But no, now we all have to imagine that thing haunting us in our nightmares. Thank you, I suppose.
You're welcome.
Anyway, what was I doing? Oh yes, I was doing what? Did my YouTube stop again?
No, your YouTube's still gone.
No, for some reason, YouTube is like Netflix now, where if you just leave music running in the background, it'll go, yeah, you don't want that. That's not a thing that is something you want to keep playing. Are you still watching? We paused it just in case you aren't watching anymore. It's like, I am.
Yeah, it's, to be advertiser friendly, it's really ridiculous.
I mean,
There's no way to turn it off.
I understand it is dumb.
Yeah. That's why you just need to get a playlist of your own by finding where to download those copyright-free songs and put it on your computer and just loop it.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's another thing. You could just loop the video and it will just continue to play and not ask you to.
And that's fair. The issue with doing that, though, is then you're only playing one song. And if you're doing it like I'm doing right now with background
you
music.
can have multiple songs in there, dude.
With
The
YouTube
loop feature doesn't do that. No.
Yeah, you would have to put it into a playlist, which then will do the other thing before, which is what I'm doing right now. I have a playlist running from Streambeats that I have on loop, but if you just go after it plays through and it auto plays the next one, after it auto plays X number of videos, it will go, hey, are you still watching? It's been like 10 videos since you've done anything. It's annoying.
Yeah, I hate that it does that. It probably shouldn't.
Well, it should have the option to turn it off, but because they want to keep their advertisers happy.
Oh, they do have the option to turn it
keep
off.
It manually.
Yeah, it's called Get YouTube
Where?
Red.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking money for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the same thing with the music library. I just found out today that if you want to be able to download anything from the YouTube music library, you need to pay for that feature.
No,
Which-
you don't.
Yes, you do.
I've
The
never
YouTube-
heard of this before. That's supposed to be free for people to download. You can go to where the videos are and just download the videos.
No, that's not allowed.
That's piracy.
That's piracy. Exactly. You don't.
We're
No?
not advocating piracy on this video. Wink, wink.
Yeah, no, we're not
You can literally
advocating
get
that at
all
all.
of Kevin McLeod stuff on his own sites and stuff.
Oh, Kevin McLeod is a different thing. But if you want someone like
True.
Silent Partner or anyone that's in the audio library of YouTube, well, you have to pay for the YouTube music section, so just to be able to download it. But
I
otherwise, you
don't
can.
think I've ever heard of that before. That sounds ridiculous and idiotic.
Well,
Welcome
in
to
the
YouTube.
Meantime, yeah, welcome to YouTube. But in the meantime, you can end up listening to the music as much as you want, and have it be on your stream or whatever for free. But you're gonna be dealing with we're gonna pause because we don't know if you're actually still listening, because our advertisers are going to be upset if they don't get their ad revenue accurate.
Yeah, they're gonna be so upset, especially at the fact that I have ad blocker.
What? No, you don't. No,
But no,
one has that.
I
No,
totally,
that doesn't exist.
Yeah, I'm totally
Get
not
ad
using.
blocker, get VPN, watch everyone cry because they're not
VPN.
sending you ads.
They started messing with VPNs lately.
Yeah,
remember what
which
happened
I
with
don't
ours?
like because that's really goddamn stupid.
Oops, didn't mean to click
I
that.
agree, but at the same time, if the company is being beholden to regional standards and people are just gonna go around them anyway, well, they're gonna still get in trouble as a company because it's being
I
gotten
don't necessarily
around.
think so. And besides,
Money.
if they're not having everything that the people want and they have to go like change to another server or pretend they're from New Zealand just to get what they want, then you probably have a very cruddy system in the first place if they have to do that just to get to what they want.
See, the issue here though is what's the alternative?
The thing
Exactly.
about this is it all has to do with laws and customer service. Is it good for the customers? This is what the customers should be dealing with. Are there alternatives to this? Are there solutions to this?
I would agree with you if it wasn't for the fact that it would be more in line with laws and money.
We all know those people are just penny pinchers anyway. The worst penny pinchers of all. Because they don't even need the pennies.
It's Disney, after all.
Yeah. Don't get me started on that.
Thanks, Disney, for making copyright law such a pain in the butt. God. They need to lose the rights to Mickey Mouse or something. I don't. They're gonna end up making it worse, you know. Because that's gonna come up again pretty soon. And the U.S. Supreme Court was like, look.
It's in the 2030s.
Stop already. So there's going to be some sort of commotion there. And it may just be, well, we'll just let Disney have their way again because we have no spine and we're made of jello.
Oh, but you didn't hear their response. The response was no. That was it. They literally pulled a Bugs Bunny and they're just like, no. Wait, can I do it from the brush tool? Hold on. Can I do this? Can do this.
Disney is one of the worst companies in terms of corporate monopoly bullshit.
Agreed.
They own almost freaking everything, and they shouldn't be allowed to have any more than this, but somehow they do.
I need to...
It's ridiculous. They shouldn't own this much stuff. And
it's them
if
and
they
Warner
have
Brothers.
competition, they'll just buy it, and they shouldn't be allowed to do that.
I mean, that's like Discord being bought by Microsoft, though. Like, who's gonna stop them?
Yeah, but Discord got away from that eventually because, heck, Microsoft didn't care that much. It's not like Discord was really competing with very much.
Well, the reason why
Microsoft Skype.
Well, yeah, but the reason why Microsoft was even interested was because it's an untapped market, right? Like, that's the real reason. There's a lot of people who pay a lot of money to be, you know, like, if you could get advertisers on Discord, so every time that you're in a call or whatever, they would play an ad in your server channels or something.
That's
like,
the thing. No one wants it.
No one wants it, but the
that.
company will earn more money from it because it's an untapped market. And, like, what are you going to do? Where are you going to go? Skype? Oh.
Yeah, you just find another avenue. We'd go to like Slack or something else.
Yeah, someone would make
Slack
something that would do it.
Same thing as Discord, though, isn't it?
No.
It's literally the same thing. I've been on Slack servers. They are literally just business Discord.
Yeah.
They're also...
It's the same API and everything, and it's like, this is pretty much...
They're more limited, too.
Yeah.
Which you can get those limitations removed by paying for a better server.
Exactly.
Now
That's
you
what
can.
Microsoft would do to Discord.
Ugh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Because that's exactly what Microsoft did to Skype when they bought it. And that's why we all left Skype.
Because they ruined something that was perfectly functional and made it worse and worse.
Because money.
Because money. Yeah, if something doesn't make sense, something doesn't make sense, just follow the money.
Oops.
Yeah. I remember on Skype where for a while you didn't have to pay to have, calls featuring video, webcams and stuff. And then they started making you charge for it.
Because they saw an untapped market.
Yeah.
Screw their untapped market. Screw what they think. You don't have to charge for air just because no one is doing it.
Well, they're charging for water.
Corporatism, baby. It's corporatism.
See, this is the thing,
That
right?
doesn't make it right.
There's two
I'm not
levels of
saying
corporatism,
it's
right? But there's two levels of
Yeah.
corporatism. Because, like, let's be fair here. If you go into a Moe's and or like a Panda, or you go into any fast food restaurant that's local, right? And you say, "Can I get a free, small glass of water?" Right? They'll give it to you. But if you go to like Sam's Club or Walmart or something. You want your Dasani? It's $2. There's a water fountain if you're that thirsty. It's one of those situations where they're obligated by law to give you water if you absolutely will die if you don't have it right this second. But if they had the choice, it's $2 isn't that much. That's their logic, at least.
Yeah, and this is the same reason why medical companies are like, oh, you need this EpiPen? No, is that an EpiPen? You
one of the
need
things.
this medicine because you got diabetes? Oh, that's
insulin.
That's like $500 a month down the drain because you have to live.
Yeah. Well, there were promising times about that, but those are long gone.
The person who made it in the first place was like, I want this to be free and available to everyone, and sold it originally at like $8, just so everyone could have it. And then the big corporations got a hold of it and was like, how about no?
But we can make more profit.
I hate those fucking people so much.
Let's not forget that the part of the problem with that, while I do understand the insurance companies are a good thing in terms of helping
It's
in
not the
just in
insurance
case.
companies doing it, it's the pharmaceutical.
Well, let her finish.
What I was saying is, the insurance companies, while they are good for the purpose of being just in case, the problem is because they're there, the medical industry has been starting to lean on them a lot more heavily, and they just say, prices? Well, let's just go through the roof. Why not? And so for a simple $200 procedure, they'll charge $5,000 for it. And then the insurance company will be like, no, we're not going to pay $5,000 for that. We'll pay you $2,000. It's like, oh, okay.
You know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like a system that basically lent out a lot of loans to people, didn't get their money back for it, and when the people come around to try and get the money from them that they loaned out, they just end up charging more and more until it gets inflated and broken. And that's not a system that works, obviously.
The thing is, the medical industry sees the insurance. I don't know, but they see the insurance company, and they basically just like, hey, we can just charge whatever we want from them and we'll get lots of money and it does nothing to our patients, right? It's like, no. Oh, and if you don't have insurance and we have charging up the wazoo, sucks for you.
Yeah, sure would suck to die, wouldn't it?
Well, that's not it. It's they will rescue you, especially if you're like unconscious, and then you wake up and you're like, I have to pay you hundreds of thousands of dollars because you saved my life.
That's like the Gen Z argument of like, I didn't ask to be alive. Excuse you.
Excuse you.
I want to speak to your manager. Why? Because you made me live, and now I don't want to.
Well, now you made me into dead slavery because I was dying.
Everyone likes to be alive. No one likes to be alive and indebted to people.
Oh, really?
Who save them.
I think a lot of Gen Zers currently would very much disagree with you.
I don't think they would want to be dead. They just don't want to be in debt and alive.
I mean, I feel like that's also an education. Like, to me, I'm gonna stop there. Never mind. I have strong feelings on education. And it's never, it's never it's a topic I don't want to get into because I will literally go off on that for hours.
I mean, you could just say school is bad as it is right now. It needs to be fixed, just
Well,
like everything else.
Yeah, but I see. I'm an engineer, right? You know what I deal in? I deal in problems. And what's the
Problem.
solving a lot of problems? Well, you got to go to the root. Well, what does that mean? That means, what's the cause? Why is the entire system completely just bad? And there's a lot of root causes that lead to this outcome. But one of the core issues that has caused a lot of the issues of both America and the world is education. Because what's good for people to make money? Well, let me tell you this. It's not education. In fact, a lot of people have spent a lot of money dumping their resources into to school boards, not for the purpose of funding the schools, but funding the people in charge of said schools to do what they want, to make people, better factory slaves, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
So,
like, everything has been built on, we want people to listen to us, basically, and do things as they're told to. But that doesn't work when there's no factories, now does it?
well, they can always just make that stuff up, like, oh, you just learn to code, and that type of stuff. I shouldn't have said that. That's probably something that will get me banned.
No, get banned for that one.
I'm sorry. Well, it's a joke. Yeah. I can code, all right? I'm in on this. I have done that,
Yeah.
I literally can't
program. A lot of trouble around here. I'm just...
It's fine. I don't really care. If I get banned here, I can still go to Twitch technically or something. I don't know. I'll just go to some other place.
Go to bed.
Oh shoot! It is 11:30.
Yeah, it's 11:30.
But my timer. Oh, so when I'm on YouTube, I don't know if you've noticed this, bro, but my timer just randomly blips and it goes from like 50 minutes to 0. And I don't know why. So it says that I've been streaming for 1 hour and 10 minutes. I now realize that's a lie. I thought it was only like 10:30. What the heck?
Well, I'll see you in Salt then, perhaps.
Maybe. But for now, I have to end this stream.
I'll leave you to your outro then.
Thank you. Oh, I need to.
So thank
stop.
you everyone so much for joining us on this rousing discussion.
And Discord is now muted. All right. And thank you all so much for joining me on this grand adventure. And until next time, stay safe and don't get lost in the abyss.